Camus' philosophy of freedom. Albert Camus, the 20th century philosopher and Nobel Prize winner, remains a towering figure in existential and absurdist thought. While many associate him primarily with the concept of the absurd, the fundamental conflict between humanity's innate desire for meaning and the universe's cold indifference, his reflections on freedom are perhaps even more compelling and ultimately more hopeful. Camus's philosophy doesn't offer the kind of unbridled, terrifying freedom posited by pure existentialists like Sartre, but rather a situated freedom born from the acceptance of limits, particularly the ultimate limit, death. The paradoxical springboard of the absurd. To truly grasp Camus's freedom, we must first revisit the absurd. For Camus, recognizing the absurd is not the end of the line, but the essential first step toward genuine liberation. The man who is truly free is the one who has confronted the silent unreason of the world and decided not to commit philosophical suicide. That is, he refuses to jump to comforting, irrational religious or political doctrines that promise fabricated meaning. This act of refusal is the first expression of freedom. The moment we accept that life has no inherent, pre-written meaning, we are simultaneously thrown into the realization that we are free to create our own. The freedom in Camus's view is therefore a freedom from destiny. Since there is no God or cosmic blueprint dictating our purpose, every action, every choice, and every moment lived is an act of sovereign creation. This is a profound and radical notion. Our most significant freedom is found in the very moment we acknowledge our deepest constraint. The tyranny of tomorrow and the revolt of the present. Camus critiques what he calls the tyranny of tomorrow. Society often tricks us into living for the future, the pension, the promotion, the afterlife, thereby postponing life and making us slaves to deferred gratification. The true freedom fighter, in Camus' terms, is the rebel. The Camusian rebel is the one who says no to oppression, to injustice, and most importantly, to the very concept of historical determinism. He asserts the value of life in the present against all forces that seek to deny its immediate worth. This is not a political theory in the narrow sense, but an ethical stance, a revolt against the conditions of the absurd. In this revolt, the individual asserts a common human dignity. The rebel acts not for some future utopian state, but to affirm the integrity of life right now. This affirmation is pure, immediate freedom. Consider the classic Camusian figure, Sisyphus. Condemned to roll a boulder up a hill, only to have it fall back down for eternity, his life appears the very antithesis of freedom. Yet Camus famously concludes, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. His freedom is found in the lucid consciousness he maintains while descending the mountain. He is free to scorn his fate, to find joy in the mere act of living, and to be master of his own days, even not of his overall destiny. His revolt is the freedom of his consciousness, the sheer power of his attitude towards the absurd. Passion and multiplicity, living to the maximum. A core tenet of Camus's freedom is the embrace of multiplicity and passion. If the only certainty is the limit of death, then the free person lives with an intense, quantitative fervor. He rejects the idea of a single, all-consuming passion, and instead embraces a life rich with experiences, sensations, and human connection. The free man is an homme revolte, a man in revolt, who is also an homme de passion, a man of passion. This passionate living is a direct challenge to the notion that value must be eternal. The sunset is more beautiful, the fleeting moment of connection more precious, precisely because it is ephemeral. Freedom is the quantity of living, not the quality of eternal, predefined good. Furthermore, true freedom for Camus can never be exercised in isolation. Unlike the extreme individualism sometimes found in other existential philosophies, Camus argues that freedom must be shared. The rebel says, "I revolt, therefore we exist." His act of defiance links him to all other human beings who suffer injustice and the condition of the absurd. Freedom becomes the capacity to act justly, to limit one's own power, and to respect the freedom of others. It is a freedom rooted in solidarity and a fierce love for humanity, not just for the self. In conclusion, Camus offers a philosophy of freedom that is both deeply realistic and profoundly uplifting. It is the freedom not to escape the human condition, but to embrace it without illusions. We are free not because we can choose everything, but because we can choose our attitude toward the things we cannot change. We achieve liberation through lucid acceptance of the absurd, through revolt against injustice, and through living a passionate life in solidarity with others. Our freedom is found between the two poles of knowledge. The knowledge that everything is permitted, since nothing is true, and the knowledge that everything is not permitted, since human dignity demands moral limits. This delicate balance is the true space of the Camusian free man. Thank you for reading this deep dive into Camus's liberating philosophy. If you found this perspective insightful, hit the like button to let us know. Subscribe to the channel for more thought-provoking articles and philosophical explorations, and leave a comment below, telling us which of Camus's concepts, the absurd, the rebel, or Sisyphus, you find most relevant to freedom in the modern world.